Class is in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC guy, and Trade Fly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Yo, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Piper Academy. I'm Army Piper. We've got a great show on this Monday morning, July 8th, lined up for you. Looking at the Fear and Greed Index sitting at 28, Bitcoin struggling to stay above a 300-day moving average. We called it rejecting off the 200 this weekend on the Discord. So we're going to be looking at that chart, guys, and I do believe, sadly, 48.5 still in line for the target to the downside. We're going to be looking at that and a whole lot more today on Piper Academy. Let's get it. Classes in session. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Piper Academy. Thank you for joining us this morning. Unfortunately, TradeFly still out working. You guys know when he's working, nothing's good. But I'm never completely alone. I've got this man right here, always my partner in crime, OC guy, holding it down for the co-host seat. What's up, man? How you doing, bro?
Not much, doing fantastic. I mean, just a little warning, I might be disconnecting one or two times throughout the stream. It's just starting, changing out satellites. It's just things that happens, but other than that, doing great. I think I have.
Yeah, I had to set my headphone up here because I'm getting a little bit of both of us talking there, and I didn't like that. So let me do this and see how this works. But guys, if you're joining us this morning, thanks for joining us here. We are glad to have you. It is Monday, July 8th. We're looking at market openings right now, and they are kind of opening really weak on the traditional finance side. So I actually think that we might see a little more downside today. But OC, you survived a hurricane. You survived the record-breaking hurricane down there. What happened down there with you? Because I'm sure, we let everyone know in the Discord and stuff that you gave an update that you were good. But, what was it that you actually experienced with the hurricane? And was it less or more? And did the alumni thoughts and prayers help you? That's what we want to know.
Absolutely. Just so you guys know, I mean, I have a couple of friends back in Cozumel that are experts, to say the least, on weather. And the thing is that it went first to Jamaica. It actually calmed the hurricane a little bit down, right? And when it touched land, it was a little bit of it was pretty strong. But when it started jumping to the city that I am in, it kind of like magically from 1 minute to another, everything stopped. The sky cleared out, and it was just gone. And then when I started seeing the reports from my friends, they were saying, you know what, there's an abnormal weather formation up here in the peninsula that made a hurricane explode and divide. So it basically escaped you guys. So it did some damage. Yes, it did
just kind of it just split around OC. OC stood out there and said, "You shall not pass." By the power invested in me by Bitcoin. Well, that's good to hear, man. We're glad that you're good and that you're safe.
Damage. Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead. Did a little bit of damage.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so it did a little bit of damage. Still no fiber internet on my side, but electricity is still already stable, and it's almost back in normal. So all good. Thanks, God.
Well, now if we can get Bitcoin to do that, that would be fantastic. Things would be going in the right direction. So let's go ahead and jump into the news. We'll talk about that, what's going on this week. We're going to look at what's hot right now, and then we'll get into these charts because this weekend we had a fight between a 200-day exponential moving average and a golden pocket, and we're going to take a look at all of that and see what's going on there. So let's jump over into the news, and we'll talk about this first, guys. Looking at the news today, guys, we do have the fear and greed sitting currently at 28, sitting in fear. We're not quite too extreme fear yet. Jumping over into the crypto bubbles, let's give it a refresh here because I shrink the screen down so that it can fit with me on here, and it does this thing to me. So there you go. Bonk up 5% on the daily right now. Okay, we're looking at the daily. Nope, now we're looking at the daily. Bonk up 14.7% on the day. TIA up 13.9, Knots up 11.2. So you can see we're getting a little rebound here on the daily. I'm not sure where I'm getting this audio from, but that's okay. There we go. I got it. Okay, I had some audio going on in my head there. I don't know what it was coming from, but I had YouTube playing in the background. We're looking at Injective up 5.9 on the daily, Core up 5.2, Pith up 4.8. Let's just jump down here and take a look at what we're seeing here. Bitcoin is at $57,000 right now. Ethereum at $3,000. So we did lose that $3,000 and dropped quite a bit, guys. You can see Ethereum getting a little bit more of a rebound than what we're seeing there on Bitcoin. What else is moving in here, guys? Solana's up 2.2 today. We have Shiba Inu up 4.5. So the meme coins are doing extremely well. It's look, hey, Polygon Matic 3.5, and I got a message for Alex O Crypto. I saw him in the chat. We gotta talk about something. I'm gonna show you here in a minute what it is. Litecoin's at 3%. What else we got here in the top movers? Render moved up a spot here, up 1.8 for the day, and yeah, everything's just kind of just moving in one spot in increments there. Let's jump over, check out the liquidations, and see what we're seeing here. In the past 24 hours, guys, we did get 90,361 traders liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $354.8 million. Largest single liquidation order, guys. Look at this. Bitcoin on OKX, $22.2 million liquidation. I'm hoping that was not Crypto Face. No, he's actually in the long right now for like 4.5 million, and it's ripping. So looking at the economic calendar this week, we have nothing today, guys. And actually, we're going to come over here and we're going to do it this way. Let's come over here. Let's get rid of that fear and greed index. And let's go down here and look and see what the Kabisi letter is given to us. They said key events this week. There we go. Fed Powell is going to testify on Tuesday, so that's tomorrow. He'll be doing a little speech. OPEC monthly report on Wednesday. June CPI, we're going to get that stuff on Thursday. We're going to look at those numbers here in just a second. June PPI, that is the producer price versus the consumer price index. So two different things there. That's coming in on Friday. And then, of course, we get that consumer sentiment report. Now let's jump over here and take a look at what they're saying here. So there's that Fed Chair Powell testimony going on. That's going to be at 8 a.m. my time, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning on the East Coast there. We got another speech going on Wednesday, same time, because it's a testimony and then a speech. And then we go down here, CPI data coming in on Thursday at 6:30 a.m. That's going to be 8:30 a.m. on the East Coast. So an hour before we go live here. Previously at 314. Actually, let's look at the inflation rate. Previously at 3.3. Guys, they're expecting that it's going to be a 0.2% drop. This would be very bullish for the markets coming in on Thursday. Very bullish. Inflation rate month over month actually coming up a little bit. So the year over year dropping, but the month over month having a little bit of an increase might actually negate each other, just so you know. But this comes in at neutral and this comes in below the 3.3, then we would be looking at a bullish scenario there. And we're going to get initial jobless claims. This is saying, hey, jobless claims may be up. And you guys know, I talk about this. This should move the markets up if we have a bad jobs report, because that means that Jerome Powell has to consider cutting rates sooner rather than later. Although it's not a very big number, it's only 2,000 jobs for the week, but we'll have to look and see there. And then with this PPI, this is that producer price index. This is how much it costs for manufacturers to produce their goods. This is looking like it's going to be a little more expensive. So this actually is an indicator saying, look, might be a little more expensive for things out there right now. There is still inflation. So overall for the week, I have to say that things are not looking very strong. Let's jump back over to DuoCam. Overall for the week on the economic side of all of this, it actually looks a little bearish this week. I think we're going to see more downside. And that's why I put that call for 48,500 on that chart. We're going to take a look at that and get into it. But The one thing that I wanted to point out to Alex O Crypto is this. Let's jump over to this news screen. There we go. And let me jump down here and see what I have here. There is a thing from Coin Bureau that I had in here. Somewhere. There it is. Right there, guys. Over $350 million in crypto allocations will unlock in July. Cryptos experienced in the unlock include WLD, XAI, APT, and Arbitrum. Large unlocks often result in sell pressure from insiders. So there's your Warno, Alex O Crypto. I just wanted to give that to you so that you knew. Arbitrum got a big unlock coming, and I know that you just moved some Polygon Matic over to Arbitrum. So warning, warning, warning. There you go. OC, that economic data that we're getting this week. So we've got one or two little pieces of bullishness, but overall, it's looking pretty bearish in my opinion for what we're going to get for data this week. Do we have more downside coming or upside? What's your opinion where you sit right now?
I did believe that we're going to be having a little bit of an upside throughout this couple of days, but overall, we might be seeing a triple bottom before we start moving upwards, or at least a triple touch on what might be becoming now a trend line before we start pushing through the big resistance that we have, previous 60K. I mean, that is a big psychological resistance, and I think it's not going to be broken without some fight. Also, I mean, we went all the way down somewhere around, what was it, 53 200, and I mean, my entry is at 52 900, so we still need to go back and take my orders there.
Yeah, come back and pick me up, please. You left without me. I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat right now. We got French Toaster in here, Crux of Crypto, Dave Digital, Alexandra G. Always glad to have her in the house. That's the mod queen. She's holding it down for us in here. We got Amy Lives Crypto in here, Museum of Corruption. But Lunar Beaches. If you guys didn't see Lunar Beaches' video this morning, his live stream, you should go check it out. He upgraded. He said enhance, and enhanced that quality. So he's looking really sharp over there. So shout out to Lunar Beaches. And we are in discussion for him to do a pre-market opening, because technically our show is the market open. And he's going to do a pre-market open show here on Piper Academy in the morning. So we're growing. And then of course, FD White teaming up with TradeFly for the crypto nightcap. So we're trying to bring you guys more content and more value to the to your subscription here on this channel. So let's go ahead and jump into Bitcoin and let's take a look at what we're seeing there. I think that we need to have a talk about what's going on there, because this weekend we talked about these levels here, and I gave a shout out to the members, to the alumni in there. I said, "Hey guys, we're hitting this this orange line. If you guys see this orange line right here, that is the 200-day exponential moving average, guys. There's a difference between an EMA, an SMA, a WMA, WMA. That's a weighted moving average, simple moving average, exponential moving averages. Huge difference. And the one that I use is just called MA ribbon. If we jump in here and take a look at what it has, you guys can see, can you actually set between the SMMA, the WMA, the WMA, the SMA. You know, you can select which ones you want. I actually have it on the exponential moving average, and that has been playing really well for us here for what we're seeing. It was almost down here to the 300 previously. We did hit almost to the perfect bounce on the trend line of this falling channel that we're in. I'll show you that. Let's get that in the picture. There we go. Let's just highlight all of this top. There you go. Nope, not you, sir. Thank you. There you go. You can see this falling channel that we're in right now, and we pretty much got a bounce on it. It's within a few dollars. But when we were coming back up this weekend and we were hitting two key levels that were overlapping, one being this 200-day exponential moving average, I said, watch out for a rejection here, guys. Plus, we also have this previous wick of support that we are now beneath, and you can see we tried to fight it back here. Those two combined together was not able to punch through it. The price action wasn't, and I thought that might be the same here, so we gave that warno. That led to a 7% pullback there from that line to the bottom of this wick, it was right at 7% without any leverage. So if you guys were in the group, you could have got that. But if you take a look at what it is now, happened again on the 4 hour, we'll extend this over. That's that 200-day. We just got another rejection off of it. Guys, I do believe this is going to be breaking outside of the golden pocket here at 56.3. And I do think that we're going to come down and retest in this area again with that 300-day exponential moving average and the bottom of that channel. If we break that, look for a retest. That will be a short entry, in my opinion, for a move down to 48,528. That's going to be the 50% fib there. And that's what I'm watching for on Bitcoin. Now, I do want to caveat and say that we do have a flip of the ribbon here. So it is possible that this could come back up here again, but we might get that zero line bounce there on that oscillator before we come down. And that would also be another rejection of this 200-day and this previous support trend that we had there. So that's what I'm seeing on Bitcoin today. I do want to jump over here and take a look at the total too, guys, because we've been keeping an eye on this, and you can see that right now we are fighting to get back above that trend line for the total two, which is the total market cap minus Bitcoin. But as of right now, we are below that. We do have the Gaussian channel coming up here, but historically, we can pull down into the median range, with that middle range there, which would be quite possible to hit, although historically we have not gone back in once we started into the cycle. So this would be a first time for Bitcoin, for total two to do that. Not Bitcoin, this is everything but Bitcoin, to come back down here. That would put that total two back down here to levels that we're seeing back in December of 2023 here, guys. So just keep that in mind, something to keep an eye on. OC, what are you seeing on your Bitcoin chart?
Perfect. So right here, the first thing I want to see is that we haven't hit the purple line on our predictors ranges, and that is not a bad thing, right? I mean, I don't think that anybody wants to see Bitcoin lower unless you do have a couple of orders, which I do basically right there. So that I do still have that little bit of a hope, but most likely I am expecting to have something like this being built up. So let's take a look at what happened here and also what's happening right now on our oscillator. So the first thing that we can see is we see this dump, we see a big V-shaped recovery, and then a high right here. Then afterwards, we have a pullback, and as you can see, we're having this formation right here that we are going to the zero line right there, and then making a secondary push right through the zero line. So in this case, seems like it is being a little bit more dramatic what has happened right here, but also the same overall shape formation. I was expecting at this point a little bit of a bearish pennant. It did not happen, or it did happen, but a little bit lower down, or a little bit lower down here in these areas. We went straight down to 53,700, and then this little bounce, just like we're seeing right here. So again, we see this kind of like a double top, but also, sorry, double bottom, but also we can see a higher low, right? This is a take or higher low, as we saw right here on this higher low.
Sorry,
So I am
sorry,
expecting.
you're talking about the higher low, and all I keep thinking about is that video with Alex O last week on Friday's episode. If you guys haven't seen the video, it's hilarious. But he was talking about "Bring Me That Higher Low" by Whitney Houston, and we were like, "No, that's Steve Winwood." And then Mark Dutch did an amazing video of Alex O singing "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston. So shout out to Martin Dutch, but please go ahead. I had a moment of humor, and my insides were giggling, thinking about Alex O Crypto's beautiful Whitney Houston voice. So go ahead. Higher low. Back to higher lows.
Absolutely. I do remember that video. That was hilarious. Go guys, please go watch that one. And also having a higher low. So based on this flip of the ribbon, if we are able to make it past to the zero line, and remember that we are on market pumps right now, we could be seeing right basically a third bounce right here, basically defining a new trend line, or going to visit this trend line that we're forming, basically having the three magic bounces out of the trend line to have a better bounce of it. Also, we'll be forming, maybe if we're lucky, an up-ranging triangle right here, and usually, sorry, an up-ranging triangle right here. And despite they usually break to the downside, if we follow what Wyckoff have been doing, we could be having that little push before we impact the dynamic reactor. Once we impact the dynamic reactor on the retrace, that will be the real test before we either bounce back up or break back in. So that's what I'm seeing. Basically, I think this is going to take the whole week to be developing throughout this upcoming 7 days. So stay tuned, guys.
Absolutely, and I do want to say one thing about the hopium. Look, I'm calling for 48.5. OC's got a little bit of a higher low build coming in. And at the end of the day, I hope that OC is correct. I hope that when I call these low numbers, I am wrong, because you guys got to remember, I'm invested in this also, and I'm watching unrealized gains disappear, right? I've got my dry powder. I'm prepared. I'm not scared. I'm prepared, right? That's what we do here. But I do always hope that when I call these low numbers like 48.5, that I am wrong. But I mean, the levels are there. So if we hit those, you guys are prepared. If we don't hit them, this is why we dollar cost average. So I just want to point that out. And I got a little bit of hopium too. I'm going to put a little sprinkle of hopium on top of OC's hopium here. Let's jump over here and take a look at this chart, guys. We talked about this last week. I said, look, as long as we can close the weekly candle. Oh, don't. Hey, lock your boxes too. Lock everything. As long as we can hold price inside of our little range box here, guys, then we are still in a bullish stance. And look what happened with the weekly close. We pulled right back up in to sit inside of that box. So the weekly candle went down there, pulled up in, and closed right underneath that door, shutting right beneath it. So we are building up off of there. This was the level that I said if we can close the weekly above this, we're technically still in a weekly bullish. We're still in a bullish infrastructure, right? So that is what happened there. Now, guys, when I talk about that 48, keep in mind that is also the 786 on here, 48.6. So we could get a wick down there. But as long as we keep closing weekly candles in this range box, we are still in a bullish structure. So there's your little dose of hopium. And yes, for those that are wondering, I've still got my daily alarm set, watching for us to come out of capitulation on the hash rate for the miners. Still don't have the buy signal yet. So as of right now, still in capitulation. So that's what I got for Bitcoin. I want to jump over to this duo cam and ask OC a question, and then we're going to look at some news here. OC, so that range box that I just showed, us holding that. Do you think, can we close a candle below this technically? I think we could, in my opinion. I think we could close a candle beneath this as long as it finds support on the platinum pocket, and that would still be in this bullish structure, because technically this was the low. 38,482 is technically on the weekly the last low, in my opinion. We have this, but this would be an continuation of that range. If we come down to here, or even down into here, that would still be a higher low. Am I seeing this wrong, or do you agree with that that point there? Or does this here make a change to that structure, or do we just consider this as one move? Because if we put this on higher time frames, let me get rid of the Mexican spaghetti here, because I just Mexican spaghetti the hell out of that plate. If we put this on like the monthly and take a look there, I think that you have to look at this on higher time frames as one move. So this would be the move here. And as long as we close in this range here, as far down as $40,000, are we still bullish on that structure? What's your opinion?
I do believe that you are right on the spot. I mean, I haven't lost the bullishness on Bitcoin. This is just basically the same pattern that we've been seeing before. I mean, this repeat over and over and over. I do even remember when we had the black swan from the COVID-19. Remember that that crashed like tremendously. Then we started going up, we're going up.
You got that
We
up on
hit
your screen?
10K, and everybody. No, but
Yeah,
I can get it like really fast.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Let's see
let's
what you're
go
talking
to
about.
daily.
Show me what you're working with, OC.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is it, right? So remember that we didn't had anything above those areas. So this was yeah, 30 perfect. And then I do remember that it was exactly these areas after the big dump, right? That everybody was just looking at and then going back down, everybody was freaking out, right? Remember, this is on daily, and this is a huge dump. Remember that we didn't have the market cap that we have right now. So I believe that we are somewhere around these same areas before we start just building up that strength to start breaking up again. So I do believe that you are right on spot. We could absolutely come back down to those areas. And I mean, if we take a look at here, for example, if we think that this was previous highs, right, at 60K, and then we think that this is this whole month, and this is sorry, this is the whole capitulation till December, and this was a run up that we are just getting out of. Well, then we still have these at least two big drops, and we have had them, right? So it's nothing to be worried about. I mean, for me, it's just opportunities to jump back in, and then if it goes lower, I'll just buy lower. I mean, for me, that is how sure am I about Bitcoin. But other than that, I think, yeah, you're pretty much on spot.
Yeah, I think this runs somewhere till around September. That's what I'm thinking. I think we have this summer of meh. That's what I think. And it's going to shake a lot of people out. We got a continuation, which I'm getting ready to jump into on some sell off because we had some mixed messaging going on. Germany's selling, Germany's buying. Now Germany's selling again. I think we found the answer to what was going on over there with that. So we're going to look at that. But a shout out to Wix. She says she loves this channel. It's one of the best shows because of live chat. And I agree. The alumni make us what we are. So shout out to the alumni in the chat. Love having you guys here. Let's jump over here and talk about this news. I want to talk about a couple of things here. One, really important stuff. Shout out to Crypto Billy in the chat right now. But Billy Goat tells tomorrow night, guys, Randy Hipper. As you guys watched last week's where I was spotlighted, which, shout out to Crypto Billy and the team over there. But this week, Randy Hipper is going to be, if you guys don't know, that is Miss Teen Crypto, who's no longer a teen. She's a full-grown crypto woman, and now she's going to be highlighted on season 2, episode 2 of Billy Goat Tells this week. And then also, guys, I got my book yesterday, so let's go. If you guys don't know, there is a children's book, The Bridge to Bitcoin. It's on Amazon, and it's Billy Goat Tells. It is a children's book to teach kids about blockchain and crypto technology. So go check that out. It's on Amazon. I bought my book yesterday, so shout out. I'm going to give it to my niece, Rayanne Shipley, who is in the chat quite a bit, and let her read this book so that she can understand crypto and not rely on crypto YouTubers like us to explain stuff. So there you go. And then let's jump over and let's see what happened here. So we had this tell of 3 stories here. Thomas Krellau talking this weekend said, according to Arkham, Germany just bought back 111.5 million worth of dollars worth of Bitcoin. What the F? Seriously? After causing the dump to 53K in the first place, German government wallets received 1,915 Bitcoin last night, back from the address linked to Kraken, Bitstamp, and Coinbase. And then Sin City Crypto comes in here and says, so apparently Germany bought $110 million worth of Bitcoin. You might be wondering, why would Germany sell this Bitcoin that they already have just to turn around and buy Bitcoin? I have a thesis. They're testing liquidity to make it a reserve, so on and so forth. Here's the truth of the matter, guys, and I think this guy nailed it. He said the German government has started dumping again. In the past hour, they've transferred 3,000 Bitcoin worth 168 million. They've transferred 500. There it is. Let me get this over here. They transferred 500 Bitcoin to centralized exchanges too, which is quite surprising as they started to sell their Bitcoin via the OTC desk recently. So what I think is going on here is they were selling this, causing massive selling pressure on top of the Mt. Gox sell-off and the federal government sell-off, all of this, right? And then they realized that this was tanking the market really hard the way that they were selling it. So they pulled it all back to their German reserve wallets and then sent that out to back to the exchanges so that they could sell it over the counter. If you guys don't know, over the counter sales do not affect price action. They are off the normal exchanges and don't really result in selling pressure or buying pressure. So it looks like they're trying to be a little more responsible with their off ramping. I'm not really sure why they're off ramping Bitcoin, but hey, it is what it is. And then that's what I'm seeing there. And let's jump over here and take a look here. There's some articles on this too. Germans, Mt. Gox or Feds. Who caused the Bitcoin dip? The German government recently sold a significant chunk of seized Bitcoin. Meanwhile, Mt. Gox trustee has also started repaying their creditors. And I'm just going to get down here and talk. Let me get rid of this. Shit. Yep. You get out of here. Thank you. And you too, sir. Get out of here. All these pop-ups. Let's get down here and get to the nitty-gritty of it. The Mt. Gox official announcement. We ask eligible rehabilitation creditors to wait a while. This is similar language to that issue during the decade creditors have waited so far. I can see most people being happy with more delays, especially non-creditors, which means that we could see a slowdown on the sell-off of Mt. Gox. We already talked about the German sell-off, that they are looking to try to go more OTC. The German government also moved an additional 1,700 Bitcoin to an address, likely moved for an institutional service or over-the-counter. So that's a big deal. That matters. And then lastly, is it the Feds? Although a regular event, the U.S. Federal Reserve decision might be another factor behind Bitcoin's volatility. On Thursday, the Feds decided not to cut interest rates for another cycle. And like I said, we've got that data coming in this week. So you guys got three major forces playing hell on the Bitcoin price right now. And I just wanted to touch on those. If you look over here, this is talking more about government shifting further 3,000 more Bitcoin in 1 hour. That was this morning. And this again, going over for over the counter sales. So, but the sentiment still has an effect. If I see that Germany's moving this stuff, it doesn't matter if it's not going to affect the price. A lot of people are going to go, oh God, they're selling more because they've already been impacted. They got a little bit of German PTSD on price action there. So we're going to be keeping an eye on how the price reacts to this. But God, I do think 48.5 is possible. And then this is the big one that I want to talk about before we get into altcoins. And I did see a request for Solana from Muhammad. So OC, if you can put that on the list and start building that. And guys, as I go over this article, jump into the chat there and let us know what altcoins you'd like us to take a look at. We got about 30 minutes to get those for you before Randy Hipper is back live today at her new broadcast location. She was moving from New York, and today is her first live. So we will be redirecting over to her right after the show. But Bitcoin climbs over $57,000, with some saying Mt. Gox sales are already priced in. I don't think we need to regain all the knowledge from this. We don't need to glean anything from this. But the point is that some people, especially some analysts out there, like what was it, Peter Brandt, I believe, said this, that the price is already baked in. That Mt. Gox sell-off, the price action that we've seen drop is from the sell-off of people baking in the Mt. Gox sell. So if that is the case, then we may not see too much further down, which would make that 48.5 be a wick and a V-shaped recovery there. That's what we're going to be watching there. So I wanted to get that news out to you guys because I think it's vitally important that you guys have all of this information that makes up your perspective of the market, because knowledge is profit. So OC, we got a request for Solana. Do you have any altcoins that you're watching this week that you'd like to take a look at before we get into the list?
Absolutely, I do have one, but well, all right, let's just take it.
But
Is
go ahead, you can go. But what?
I mean,
But what, man?
but you are the master sergeant of that coin, which is Link. So I rather leave it to you.
Well, I planned on touching on Link today. So you want me to start with Link? I can start with Link. I was already looking at Link this morning. So I'll look at it first, and then we'll wrap back around to your touch up on it, your little finalization there on it. All right, looking at Link here, guys. Let's jump into this chart. Bam, there we go. We dropped out of the channel. You guys know I was talking about this channel a while ago. This is the trade channel, this yellow band. Let me turn off the EMA so that there's no confusion. This yellow trade range for Chainlink was what I was watching for a long time because it trades in ranges. It was previous support. It became, now we had a new range. We did break out of it, came back into it again. Multiple support there. Can I get that fixed range volume profile to load? Thank you very much. You guys see there, I talked about this little volume node that we had here. And I said, look, if we lose this, we do have this. We have the platinum pocket. This is going to be your range to watch. That's going to be your support levels. That is where we pulled down to perfectly there, right into that volume node. So shout out to fixed range volume profiles. I love it. We are now getting back up in side of the platinum of the golden pocket. We broke above that 618 there. Which was resistance, and we broke back above the 0.66, completely cleared the golden pocket. If I have to look at this and see what's going on right now, on the 4-hour, guys, we are testing the bottom of this trade range again, which is overlapping with that 0.618. That is a good point for support, and I'm going to be watching that closely here as we close in on that dynamic reactor and that point of control. That point of control from the fixed range volume profile. There's your value area low, value area high, point of control right there. I'm going to be watching closely. If we are able to get through that, guys, we should head up to the top of this again at 1663. Of course, that's all dependent on what happens with Bitcoin, but Chainlink absolutely getting back above critical resistance and turning it into support today. Looking at the oscillators here, let's look at the higher time frames. Looks like here on the higher time frame on the daily, we are starting to get a ribbon flip, but this could be a little goose head, so keep that in mind. Could be a little goose head, could be one more time down. But if we look at this on the 4-hour, it does look like we do have upside to move here. So that's what I'm seeing there. Let's kick it over to you and see what you're seeing on your chart for Chainlink OC, and then I will take a look at that list and we'll come back around to it. Let's go.
Absolutely. Looking at Cosmos here, Adam, basically you nailed it out on Link. I mean, I am looking at Link because, I mean, Link, it is, as its name implied, the link that I believe that in the future, big entity is going to be sharing data. I see many banks building on top of something that will be easily accessible over Link. And yeah, I do have a big bag of Link, and I keep increasing it as we go down. But something I want to show you guys, it is Chart Prime. That we have the reversals, right? On the reversals, you go to my YouTube channel or go to Chart Prime's additional content, I do explain, I have a video explaining how those reversals act. Something very important, it is the reversal on case number 3. So going down, having a reversal, V-shaped recovery, and then a little range. Usually we have a continuation pattern right down there, right? So this is the one that I'm looking at. At Atom, we had on daily that exact same pattern going down, little reversal, V-shaped recovery. That gave us the continuation pattern to the downside. At this point, we keep going downwards, and I see a V-shaped recovery very much like this one, but no reversal. If I clear this up for you guys and we go back into something like the 4 hours, we'll see that this is a dramatic pullback, right? Even higher, or I think more stronger than this one that we had before, because of the time that it pullback happened. Also, we can start drawing this trend line right down here, and I believe that now we're gonna have a real opportunity, because look at the oscillator, we're back above the 0 line. What I want to see is another drop, not losing the 0 line, going for the third bounce right down here, and that giving me a breakthrough. Well, then, just in case it wasn't clear, back on daily, where is that reversal coming to play? That we don't have it, right? So going down, V-shaped recovery and reversal, that usually give us a short reversal with an end up continuation. Going down, V-shaped recovery, no reversal, that usually give us a continuation, but to the upside. So I do have a lot of hope in here, especially because of what altcoins are doing. I believe that Bitcoin might, and I'm going to say with this quotation, might follow. And it is not because Bitcoin is going to follow. It is just that altcoins have lower volume and they're easily movable, right? So I believe that's where we're staring to. Again, we are not bullish. Look at that. We're not bullish, but we're bouncing from the very bottom of it. So that's one of the coins that I'm looking at. Do you want to take over from here? I see you got Cas and Ondo. I can do Tia.
No.
And Sol.
There was a, yeah, do Solana and Tia, and I'll knock out Ondo and Caspa, but I'll do Caspa, pass it over to you and then come back. Looking at Caspa here, guys, we do have Caspa we talked about these levels before. We had the level up here that I said, look, this is a resistance level. It's 10 point. It's the 10 phase 10 golden pocket. It's the 10.618, right? And that was at 19.4 cents. Did create a new higher high there and all time high. I mean, and then we pulled back from it harsh. So if you guys were watching for that level there, that was a really good call. That led to a big downside. I thought we might try to hold here on the phase 9. Did not happen. You can see it was tried. They attempted with a lot of support. We fell down below it, and then we had a nice little range box here, a little T box there. Shout out TATM over in Investing Bros. That was in line with the dynamic reactor. Guys, we almost came down to the phase 7 at 14.5 cents, and now we are coming back up here and trying to get above this. We are hitting the dynamic reactor as we speak right now on the 4 hour, and I'm going to be watching that closely if we bring this in just so you guys can see this dynamic reactor right there is playing really, really bad games with the price action. I do see that we could be coming back down, but if you guys want to know how low could Caspa go? I got a little box down here. Let me bring this in and I'll show you guys. I don't know that it's going to make it all the way down to here, but I want to show you guys on the daily how low we could go and still be on a bullish trend. That would be this blue trend line here. And if I go over here, let's turn off this fib-based trend extensions. They've been fired, but they are definitely in the way. You guys can see this trend line here was back where I bought at 4.5 cents right in here. And it was because this trend line was being touched. We could come back all the way to this trend line here and still not break for a lower low. Do you see that? We would literally be hitting this here over the next, days, weeks, and hit this and still be creating this higher low, I should say. So technically, Caspa's looking really good right now in comparison to some of the other alts out there. I'm still really bullish on Caspa. And I will tell you, if we got down to those levels, I would probably grab up a metric ass ton of Caspa. So because I am super bullish on Caspa, it's looking really strong still, and we could still come down much lower and give an amazing buy opportunity and still be creating bullish structures. So that's what I got for Caspa. Let's kick it over to you and see what you're looking at, OC.
Absolutely. Looking at Solana here, I have a little bit of spaghetti just to bring up what we were looking at. Just a little reminder, we were looking at these kind of movements right here, and then also expecting something like that to happen before we start looking for a bullish scenario. Let me just clear this up a little bit and also just bring back up this triangle that we had a breakout, going for that maybe pullback or retest, and then finally losing this trend line, which took us all the way down here. I want to pay attention to this little circle here, because when I bring up the chart primes, support and resistance, automatic support resistance, we can see that it was spot on. Remember, that was the area that we were looking for a bullish scenario. Look at that, so precise, very spot on. And right now, despite we are in a strong sell, we already have gone back up. Remember, it's not about the breakout, it's about the retest, and that short played out very nicely, although we are back above that areas where we started. So we have a little bit of a bullish divergence in here. Let me clear this up so we can see through. And we are forming again that upper trend line. So this is something that is going to be repeating over and over and over throughout this altcoins. And that is because of Bitcoin formation. What I want to see in here is to lose a dynamic reactor, which seems like we are basically doing as we're breaking to the zero line. And that gives me a lot of hopium. But again, I need to be careful because of this area of resistance. If I get rejected from here, my next entry will be down here, somewhere around this trend line that I'm forming. And also I can back that up with a possible, there we go. And we got it. This trend line right here, as you can see, if I bring it up and extend it, this is an automatic trend line right down here. You're going to be making that little V shape to grab the price, and maybe with a little bit of luck, as we are breaking back up above it, we are bouncing back up. So other than that, I believe that the next thing to look at. If we fail to resist in here, we're going to be looking for this loud order block. It's been built very quick, very fast, and very strong. So I am bullish on Solana, despite we are still bearish. Technically, we're still bearish. Other than that, turning it back to you, Piper.
Awesome. Now let's jump over here. Take a look at what I'm seeing here on Ondo. We had a we did have a pullback here. I'm looking at a 4-hour chart. We pulled back here to the 786, bouncing perfectly there on these platinum pockets. And guys, if you guys ever want to know, you're like, hey, where are you pulling these levels from? Hit me up on the TA talks that we do, or TA time that we do in our Discord here with Piper Academy. If you remember, you get those sessions, or right here in the chat, like, hey, where did you pull those pips from? And I will show you guys. So this played out perfectly before we came back up, and we got a bounce of rejection off of that 618 on the golden pocket. This was the level that I was telling you to watch here inside of this golden pocket. We got a great rejection there. Came down, candle close on the 0.66 of those, and we did get a fake out break above that 618 before we headed back down, getting a clean bounce here. We got a wick below, but a candle close on the 4-hour above that 786. However, pause for effect, guys. I do think that right now we are in a critical area of rejection. One reason being that we have a 100-day exponential moving average here, which if that's a horrible drawing line there. Let me see if I can turn the magnet off and do that a little bit better. It looks like we just got rejected perfectly off of that EMA. On top of that, guys, we do have another thing. Let me jump over here to the daily, and you'll see that that's also where the daily dynamic reactor is coming in at. That's this green line turning red right there. We are below that, and it looks like we just got a perfect wick off of that also. So we could see some downside movement today on Ondo. I'm going to be looking for this, and I'll show you why. I'm going to be watching for us to come down here and get another bounce on the 786 before we head up. Why? Because we got a bullish divergence on the Oscillator Pro. We got an uptrend arrow that printed here indicating upside, and we do have a ribbon flip. I would like to see this be a little more of a higher declination, more of that 45-degree angle that OC always talks about. But as of right now, this does indicate that we could have a little more push here to reject off that 0.66, come down, get a bounce off of that, and then to the upside. But as of right now, RSI is looking pretty decent. Could see a little upside movement, but I think overall we are going to revisit that 786 at 89.1 cents. I do want to show one thing. Shout out to any of our people in the Houston area. I know we've got I think Dave Digital's in the Houston area, and I know for a fact Ada Aces. They are getting hit with your hurricane, OC. So you sent it their way. Hurricane OC, aka Burl, is actually hitting this morning, hitting Houston, and just so you know, they're on the dirty side of that hurricane. So like if you think of like my head is the eye of the storm, the dirty side is that top. At that top side, there you go, that top side and to the east of that storm, and that's usually where the highest winds are. And I got family in Houston also, just to show you this is what's going on in their neighborhood right here this morning. That is that hurricane winds bringing down trees. So yeah. So if you're in the Houston area, you're in my thoughts today, guys. I just wanted to put that out there. Also, shout out to Crux of Crypto. He said, reminder, the newsletter is dropping this afternoon. So if you are an alumni member and you read our newsletter, you should. We're going to have some good TA in there and some good trade calls and the Gemology 101 and all those great things that go into that newsletter. So let's kick it over to you, OC, and see what you're looking at, man.
Absolutely. Just a little bit of TIA here. This is our previous analysis. Remember that we have two boxes here of support, and then we have a last area of support right all the way down here in case we were failing this one. But it seems that we are not. In fact, it seems like a beautiful Wyckoff pattern here where the spring, it is this one here, and we're finally breaking back in. So breaking back into the range that usually give us a ton a very strong opportunity to hit the top of the range, and we're almost there, right? So also we are above the zero line here. We have that breakout that we were expecting here after that reverse or flip of the ribbon. It did win lower than I was expecting, although we have that little circle there. I mean, it did went lower, right? Nonetheless, if you're planning to enter Antia, if you're DCAing in, this is a good area to DCA in. If you already have DCA in here, I would, and this is not financial advice, but I would say just hold it. You already have enter on this area. So if I was DCAing in on TIA, I would rather wait for breakout retest and then going for the next area up here, or at the support right down here as we start bouncing up. Remember, do not long on resistances, do not short at support. That is a one-on-one trading rule in there. So what's coming up in here, I do expect us to start pushing through this high order block again. I do also expect to have a little bit of retracement, so something like that will be what I will be aiming up to. So other than that, trading back to you, Piper.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't know if you guys got anything you guys want to see in the charts. Let us know here in the chat. But as of right now, it looks like they're saying the storm was smooth. So okay, there you go. I
There was an
just
arrow.
listened in 2x speed to catch up. Piper sounds drunk according to Litter Beach Crypto. I'm not drunk. I'm drinking coffee, man. No Baileys. No Baileys in this coffee. So what do you got, OC? You got something else to look at?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a request from Nairo, so I pull it up in here. Again, I do believe that we're going to be having this same patterns over and over and over. So let me just break it back down to you. We have this upranging trend line in here. Also, we have broken through the zero line, and we're doing that retest that I've been talking on the other coins in here. So as you can see, if we can hold this, which seems that we are, we could be making that push through the dynamic rector. So I want to see a clean push through it. And by the way, I do believe that it's going to be taking the whole week. Hopefully, it doesn't, but I believe that it's going to be taking the whole week. And I want to see also a clean breakout. What is a clean breakout? Basically, a big body candle going through and closing either below or above that dynamic reactor. Even if we have that big body candle, and then we have a lot of like small ones. I as long as we like find that support, that's what I want to see for a breakout. So just to recap, I want to see a big body candle, maybe a couple of small ones, and then a push to the upside to start getting bullish on Aero. Looking cool, looking cool. I mean, we have also market the prophecy on market pumps, so it is looking pretty nice.
Awesome. Yeah, we had a request here for Clean Spark. So let's go look at Clean Spark. Let's go look at Clean Spark. My girl is mad at me and she's not being nice. But I will say this. Eric Wallen, we're in good hands. It's okay because we're still, even with all the sell-off, in my buy box range. Typically, I like to buy more towards the top, but hey, I will take the bottom over the top any day of the week. If you know, you know. If you look at what we got going on here, we are seeing a bounce here of that golden pocket, that 618. I'm looking at a daily 4-hour charts here, guys. So this was on Friday. We came down, wicked perfectly to this buy box, and then have bounced back up. We're now getting rejection off that point of control and the top of that that buy range there, that green box, which is also in line with the top of the golden pocket. As long as we can stay in this area, guys, we're gold. Okay, but it does look like here on the Oscillator Pro that we are going to get another sell-off to the downside, and we are starting to get short candles with wicks on top. Excuse me, which would indicate downside movement here. So be watching for about that $15 range there, $15 to $15.22 for that downside. Now, I do have this 1385 marked here in white. Why? Because that is the value area low, and you can see how much the point of control has played here, especially just recently. We just now got that rejection off of that point of control again right there. So that could be the bottom side movement of this move down to this value area low, which is coming in right below that white line. If I stretch it out, you'll see it right there. It is. So that could be the low that we shoot for. But until we see a breakout of this beyond these little outliers, this has been a key point inside of here to pick up clean sparks. So that's what I got there, man.
Absolutely. I do have Apple for the upcoming request. So Apple seems like it hit exactly where we were expecting right here. So with this movement, it actually played out very, very nicely as we're breaking through, going for that retest, and off we go. So let's just see how far could it go, or if we're basically on a retracement, or a possible retracement, which I believe we are. Because look at what has happening here on the clouds. Look at the compression of the clouds here. It is not that dramatic, but we're seeing that compression and also the flatten of that dynamic, sorry, on that ribbon on the oscillator. So what happened there, basically we had a little bit of a pullback in here, basically a spring and then a breakout. So a little bit of a range in here would be what I would be expecting and even wanted to see, because remember, ranging, it's another way of correcting, and to have a healthy market we need that correction, or at least give it a little bit of a time for a market to have that restructuration before we keep pushing upwards. So let me bring up my indicators really quick to see what else do I have. So it seems like we have broken a support, and also we just built up a loud order block. So that is defining basically the bottom of that range. And the outer range will be between these two loud order blocks. So what I'll be saying basically, it is that the main range is going to be taking place here, with some wicks going down below this area on with that money flow POC and this order block. So basically encasing here for a little bit, or for some wicks action before we go back down here, find that support, and then rebuild back up to these areas. So Apple looking good, looking very, very good and healthy. Expect a little bit of a range before we keep moving forward. So other than that, that's what I got.
Awesome. I want to jump over here and show you guys something, because we talked recently about Fed liquidity. The Fed liquidity is going to play a big part on money going into assets, right? And we broke down about how money going into the TLT, the bonds. You guys remember this whole conversation? We talked about it, right? I am seeing more indication here of liquidity flowing in also. Let's jump over here and check this out, guys. This is the M2 money stock. This is the amount of dollars in circulation. And you can see that going back here, we did have a nice little pullback here that started back in March of 2022. Comes in, we went way down, right? This was after we hit those high numbers and they started quantitative tightening, right? Ooh, they got really tight with the money and said, hey, we're going to raise the interest rates, all this. That is this here. Guys, we're starting to come back up starting here in February, and we're moving to the upside on the money stock. That means the money printers turn back on. Liquidity is coming. I just want you guys to know that, and that is going to be probably somewhere around the end of summer. I think that we have these markets to watch here for the July and maybe a little bit into August, and I think that we will start to see either out of that sideways or a few downside moves, but overall that's going to be where it starts to take off to the upside. The one last thing that I want to point out here on that is that if we take a look at, it was what was it? There it is. That is not it. There was something that I was going to show you on that about that money flow moving to the upside and that quantitative easing that was going on. It was this. There we go. I lost my train of thought. I'm back now. Thanks. Taking a look here, guys. Again, we typically do have. There we go. We typically do have a green July after a red June. But just keep in mind, if we look at the downside movements here, 6.5%, 7.6, 9.6. Those are typical historical July downside movements. So if we look at the worst case scenario on here for downside movement, it would be 9.69. Jump back over to the chart here, look at Bitcoin, bring it back up and see what we got going on there. Go back to the candles, please. Candles, thank you, right there. If we go and take a look at what happened here on this monthly of where we are right now, for the month, that's this newest candle right here for July, and we'll measure this from its opening to now. That's about 14%, but as of right now, we're down like 10%. So if we look at what we're seeing over there on that chart, that average 9.669%, that's right in line with where we are to the downside right now. So nobody trip out. You'll be okay. That is what I wanted to show. That even with the worst case scenario, the average July move, we're still in line with it right now. So, OC, what do you got? We got like 1 minute. What do you got for the people?
So, guys, thank you so much for joining today, and I'm really appreciate that you guys are dropping your likes. Quick reminder to click that like button, because if you do, well, you're gonna be skipping those hurricanes. Texas, our prayers are with you guys. I really also want to share the love for you guys, for your prayers. I know I did receive a ton of messages, a ton of prayers for you guys, and I do I firmly believe that that has to do with the limited damage that we had here in my city. I really appreciate it. And with the same love and heart, I will be having my prayers for Texas as we speak and as the hurricane goes through you guys. So hopefully it vanishes as soon as we did in here. And other than that, just spread the love. Please hit that like button. That really helps us out with the algorithm and help us to bring you guys the news in the charts and everything you need to do. You need to know. Other than that,
Awesome.
turn it back to you, Trevor.
Well, thanks for joining me today, OC. I appreciate you being here, and I'm glad that everything has cleared out and worked out for you post-hurricane. Thoughts, and again, to everyone in there in Houston, and thanks for joining us today on Piper Academy, guys. We're going to be back here tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m., doing the same thing, looking at all of this. But don't forget, today in the Discord, we're going to be dropping that newsletter. So if you guys are over there and you guys see anything in there that you want to talk about for the AMA, that's coming up this week also. And then looks like Randy Hipper's show is already done for today. I don't know. So we can't redirect her. I just tried to set it up. She was not there. So knocked on the door. No one answered. She shut the party down. But guys, we'll be back here tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts and the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Until then, guys, trade safe. And as always, use a stop loss.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall off. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, former Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall off. Sound off.
To get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude!